One of the issues that's also come into us this evening, and we found it on the doorsteps, and it's also in the email casework that we've seen today, has been asking my opinion about renters and leasehold reform. And I think this is a really important topic. It's something that comes up frequently. And for many people, the genuine fear that they are only ever one step away from disaster and becoming homeless is very real. And I would look to fight for those people and to pursue leasehold reform in order to try and instill a greater degree of genuine safety and security for many people there. The Leasehold Reform Act that was passed just before the end of this Parliament was a really helpful step in that direction, but it needs to go further. I'd like to see an end to no-fault evictions, or Section 21 notices, as they're sometimes referred to. I'd like to see a register of landlords with contact information in it that can be accessed by both renters and by the authorities as it's needed, which will always ensure, and where the landlords themselves have undertaken to ensure, that messages to them will always be picked up, much like we have for company directors. And I'd like to ensure that the authorities, whether that's local councils or others, have the powers and resources they need to pursue bad landlords, whether it's those who are allowing their tenants to live in unfit, mouldy conditions, or whether it's those who are just pursuing them for financial reasons in ways that might be considered unfair and unjust. And there's possibly a sense of this that comes from my own situation. So I live in private rented accommodation in the middle of the constituency in Soho, as it happens. And indeed, about 47.1% of the people who live in Cities of London and Westminster live in private rented accommodation. It's the most common category of accommodation in the constituency. But this isn't true of either my Labour or LibDem opponents. I live in a flat, like 90.6% of the people in this constituency. Again, that's the most common form of accommodation in the constituency, but neither my LibDem nor my Labour opponents can claim to do the same. I also live on my own, like 46.2%. Again, the most common category in the constituency, and not something that's true for my Labour or LibDem opponents. So when it comes to housing, which is a huge issue in this election and a massive issue for many of the people, indeed across the country, it is me who has the experience of being able to relate to residents much more than my Labour and LibDem opponents, because I'm much more similar in my circumstances to theirs. Indeed, the Labour and LibDem opponents don't even live in this constituency in the first place. That's why I'm your strong local choice. Please vote for me on the 4th of July.